Hi, welcome to Catholic Nest. So I thought I'd do a quick year review of how our first year of secondary home ed has gone, and what worked, what didn't, what we managed to do, what we're bumping to next year, that kind of thing. So I have mentioned before that this year was quite heavily derailed around Christmas time for a few months with moving and some other life stuff going on. So we did lose quite a chunk of time there. So that did kind of scupper my well-laid plans. So there's a bit that we're bumping to next year, but I kind of knew there would be, even without that, as I had quite a lot there for him. So this is for my eldest, he's 12. He's coming to the end of the equivalent to year 7, which is grade 6 in the US, which would be the first year of secondary education in the UK. So some of the things I didn't share at the beginning and some of the things that I did. So I'll just start and have a look through. So we did Geog 1. There's 1, 2 and 3 to see you through KS3. Managed to get both 1 and 2 second hand so far, so that's been a great saving. There are answer books to this series. There is a teacher manual, but from looking on it online, it looked like it was more geared towards a classroom setting, and I certainly haven't felt like I've needed that. It is also, if you go to the actual Oxford site, there's a big caboodle online package. I did email them prior to purchase, and they said you don't need any of that for home learning. It's enough just to use the text in the workbook. So it comes with a black and white workbook, which I think are only about £6 or £7. So he hasn't got to the end of it yet, so I'll just show you some. So each page is a lesson, a double spread lesson in here. So I found it quite easy to schedule. The only reason we haven't finished it is because of stuff going on in life this year. So basically, every double spread is 1 page in the workbook. So it's nice and manageable. So I'll just show you quickly. I think if you schedule twice a week for 3 12-week terms, I think you'll still finish early. So it's geography and you, maps and mapping, about the UK, glaciers, rivers, Africa, Kenya. So it's nice and visual, lots of pictures. So because the answers to these, I think, would be in the teacher's manual, we've just left that and just done the activities in the geography book. So we really like this. We are carrying on with it through the whole of KS3, and my second son will complete this next year, as he'll be the equivalent to year 7 as well. So another KS3 resource we've used is the Oxford, again, their history. There's 3 in the series, 1 for year 7, 1 for year 8, 1 for year 9. So we haven't finished this yet. This is much harder to schedule, even at twice a week. So we did kind of lump some of the lessons together, and probably would have finished it on time had we not lost time in the term. We liked this. It's something I would do with him. We'd read it together, talk about it. Sometimes we'd watch a documentary or something on things. I like the way it's broken down. Some lessons we would go to the over to you section, and I'd pick one of the things for him to do in a workbook. We kind of just went through it gently, and lots of discussion, lots of review. We still have a chunk left to do, so it'll bleed into next year, but my other son will be starting it in September as well. So it covers the Crusades, so that was one to do with just adding Catholic perspective to that. So anything we wanted to dive deeper into, we could, and anything we wanted to skim and just discuss, again, that was fine. But quite like the layout. We haven't done a great deal of British history, so I thought this was a good kind of choice to kind of fill in a lot of the British history gaps. So I did share this in my picks for last academic year. KS3 English Anthology. So there's a whole series of these. They do say on the back whether they would be for year 7, 8 or 9. But we're disregarding that a bit, to be honest. We're not doing them all. We are going to do a couple of them. And we did actually really enjoy it. So it had fiction, non-fiction and poetry. There's a few left I'd still like to do from here. We skipped over some of them and did the ones that I thought he would be most interested in. So I'd normally get him to pick one of the activities at the end to do in his English book. And it has been good for him. I really saw, on a whole, with his English choices, a lot of improvement from him. I like the fact that the activities at the end varied from story to story. So we just kind of picked and chose which ones we liked. So we'll probably carry this into next year just to do a few more of the ones that we fancy. Easy Peasy Language Arts. This was also good. I liked a lot of things about it. Included a lot. There was lots of editing, lots of grammar, lots of small writing opportunities as well. We didn't finish it. There's some pages at the back that we've not finished. I felt like they were laid out in manageable, not overwhelmingly small print and large amount to do. So if you have a child that's easily overwhelmed, that might appeal to them because it just doesn't look quite as intimidating. So there was lots of good stuff in here. I'm going to hang on to it and use some of the activities with my second son, and maybe even with my eldest still. So that was also good. The handwriting lessons through literature that I shared, this was just in his Friday box, and we don't always do Friday box depending if we're going out. So not a huge amount got done with this, however I do really like it. We will carry it through to next year and carry on working on his handwriting. So I shared a couple of these books. We didn't do it cover to cover, but we did a good amount in there in a separate workbook. I kind of went through things with him. It was good for introducing him to comprehension skills, as he hasn't done a great deal of that. But between this and the myths and legends, I feel like he got, and between the easy peasy, between the three of them, I feel like he really got better in writing full sentences, his grammar and description and kind of decoding passages and stuff. So we will continue with the next couple in the series and the comprehension to 14 whenever that comes into play for next year. So yeah. So this is the art. I think I didn't share it at the beginning because it hadn't arrived. It's not KS3, I don't think it's particularly for children. It's just acrylics for the absolute beginner. I chose this as I like the fact that it was a lot of it was step by step. You add a little bit at a time. It is a series. I'm torn between him continuing with this or to start the watercolour one, and his brother can do this. We'll see nearer the time. But he really enjoyed doing it. He didn't do a huge amount from it because we did a lot of acrylic paint in the nature study that we did, so that kind of covered a lot of that as well. But like he did, so one of the things he did was this tree. So in his art book, he did the tree. I thought he did really well with that. And then the next thing was 2 people walking. And kind of did a big version of that. The next one was the cow, which he kept in slightly off scale at the bottom there. But really good. He's quite a perfectionist, so we like things to look exactly like they're meant to. But the step by step was really good for helping him to understand the process. So I like them. It was only about £6, and it's quite a chunky book. Good for adults or older children, I would say. So we like that. So a couple of things that didn't work so well was, I'll find it. I brought a few of the ochre packs. They were hit and miss depending on the child. So this was the Francais All About Me book. He didn't finish. I think I bought 2 or 3 of them. He hasn't finished one this year because there's just been so much going on. I still would prefer something with audio. I'll probably carry them into next year and maybe look for an audio component. I know that the Ochre do an online version. Maybe that's something that we could pair with them with the home ed discount. So the jury's kind of out on that because I don't feel like we've given it a full trial. But a note on the ochre packs worked very well for some of the children, not very well for others. Another ochre pack I got him was the electrical circuits. He really loves to tinker and do circuits. This was a fail on my choice parts because he just thought this was so boring and uninteresting. And I don't think we completed any of it in the end. We just read some of it. So I might just put that away for one of my other children who will enjoy the written and visual aspects more. He obviously enjoys it in a hands-on way and didn't want me interfering, adding workbooks to it, so that's fine. So that wasn't a success for him. Spelling journal is something that didn't happen. Nothing wrong with it, just we never got as far as putting the spelling words into the spelling journal. This is a free print off from Barefoot Ragamuffin on the Lulu site. Didn't get used. I will pop it away for another child. The Warhorse novel study was something that did get shelved. I didn't want to rush through it with the limited time we had left, and I didn't want to kind of start it and not finish it. So I thought it'd be better just to save it and concentrate on the English bits that he had and do more of those. So if you didn't see my pics from last year, this novel study was from Teachers Pay Teachers by Nat Reed. So all the books and DVDs and everything I go with that, I've got stashed away for next year. So I also had his book box. He's read a good chunk of the books from here. A bit dusty. He hasn't managed this one yet, and then I kind of put it aside because I'm having more focus on Shakespeare next year. So I'll need to sort out the ones that he's read, the ones that he's reading, and the ones that he fancies reading for next year, and then add some more. So that's just a quick review. If I've forgotten anything that you were interested in knowing, whether it was a good pick or whether it worked for us, just drop a comment. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing the 2 boys who are both KS3, their picks in the coming weeks. So I'll share those. So thank you for watching. Hope that's been of help. I know secondary can feel a bit daunting with home ed, and I'm still finding my feet as well. I think, to be honest, KS3 really, you can just extend what you're doing from primary, and I'm just kind of using it as gap filling in preparation for GCSEs. I don't feel as intimidated by KS3 as I did going into it now. I think we're starting to find our feet. So I hope that was handy, and I'll see you soon.